Mike Mandel,
Yes, Chris.
what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the agree and repeat strategy, and this is a very, very useful thing. It can save you a ton of money, or it can just help you get your way much more often than you do, instead of caving into other people.
Right. We decided to put this out here for you guys because we want you to actually use this to save money so that being a part of this actually makes you money. That would be awesome.
That's very good.
There we go.
Now realize this stuff really works. I did not originate this. This is sort of my handling of something I read years ago. But the handling of it is a little bit different than what I read. Now, what's interesting is Neil Strauss, New York Times bestselling author, hired me 3 times to teach for him in Hollywood, in Whistler, British Columbia, and in Toronto. And I taught this to his group, and they loved it so much, he calls it Mandeling somebody.
Yeah, his members started calling it Mandeling.
Yes.
Yeah, and he picked it up because of that.
And he started posting on his website. One guy had now saved something like $10,000 by consistently doing this.
We had a member in an Architecture of Hypnosis class years ago who was part of Neil Strauss's group and said that he used it to negotiate a deal on a car too and save thousands. So we'll give you examples in this video. Actually, Timothy's going to come in and role play with Mike in a moment after we go through some of the teaching. And we'll give you some examples of where you can use this very easily. So not every one of you is going out to do a car deal or something, but most of you have cable bills and things like that. We'll give you some everyday situations.
Yes. Now, what is it exactly? It's a way of answering the other person's objections, a way of diffusing the other person's anger, whatever. And you never have to get angry. You don't even have to pay attention when you're talking to them. No emotion. You can do it on the phone. And maybe you're one of these people, oh, I just can't say no. Sure you can. A friend of mine said, oh, I can't do it. I just can't. I said, you're just saying no to me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't do it. Like, of course you can say no. So you just use this, make it a habit, and it's immensely powerful. Whatever they say to you, whatever it is, you don't argue. It just stops you arguing. There's no resistance. Because do you know what? You cannot fight with somebody who agrees with you. It's not possible.
Yeah.
So what you do is you actually agree with them in principle. You agree with what they're saying and then tell them what you want. And they'll say something else and you just wait for them to finish and you agree with everything they've just said. You don't resist it. And then you tell them what you want again. And you just keep doing it. And the person says, well, how many times do I have to do this? Just one more time than they do. That's all. So
this has been something you've been teaching so long. This was the very first thing I learned from you in 1993 when you did the brain software keynote.
Carleton University.
At Carleton University, Porter Hall. So, and I started using this, guys, that was 31 years ago. And we're still using it every day. Not every day, but...
Oh, it's fantastic.
Right. So let's actually explain this because we're going to give them ways to use it to save money, which means they have to be the initiator of the request, right?
That's right.
But let's maybe start with when someone else is asking you to do something like, hey, can you help? Can you pick me up at the airport?
I'll give you a real-world example. Yeah. There was a nightclub in Oakville, Ontario, and I had worked there a number of times, and agents typically overwork acts if they can because they just see their percentage. Oh, but he's already got 2 shows that day. Yeah, book him. He can do it. Sure, he can do it. Like, what? So they booked me 3 times in a year at the same place. And I'd like to do it once a year or twice max. 3, it might even be more. And I said, I'm not working it again. I want a year off because the audiences were just starting to get smaller. People would see my act a lot. It
wasn't as much fun for you if you noticed that it was repetitive.
Yeah, I've got to start finding new material each time. So I said,
what happened?
Don't book me back there for about a year. Well, a couple of weeks later, one of the agents phones me up and he said, oh, I know you didn't want to book it, but the guys really requested you, so we booked you next week. I said, wait a minute. I just did this a month ago, and now you want to bring me back again because they killed a goose that lays a golden egg, right? And then they go on to someone else.
So you've told them not to book you. He calls you and says, we booked you for next week.
But you'll do it, won't you? So I'm saying, I remember I was in the parking lot of Grace Hospital downtown. And I said, I know how you feel, but I said I'm not doing it, and I'm not doing it. Oh, you know, this is going to look really bad on us if we have to pull a plug on it now. So I agree with you.
It will.
I'm sure it will.
But I'm not doing the show.
I'm not doing the show. Well, look, you know, I've got to call this guy, and I'm the one who's going to say this to him. Can't you just do it? I said, I know how you feel, but I'm not doing the show. Yeah. Notice I'm agreeing in principle. I'm saying, I know how you feel, or I'm sure you do.
You're not agreeing with his point of view.
You're agreeing
that you understand what he's said to you.
So we simplified it. Actually, I did. Instead of agreeing with, I know how you feel, or that sounds reasonable, just change it to understood.
That's the beautiful.
One frickin' word. Well, you know, this is going to look bad on me. He's not going to want me to book anything there. Understood. But I'm not doing the show.
Yeah.
Well, you're being very unreasonable. Understood. But I'm not doing, just keep repeating it.
Yeah.
How many times? Until you get what you want. That's it. or until you don't get what they want.
It is an amazing strategy, and that's why I'm so glad we started with this, the how to say no to somebody, right? Without ever getting upset, without having to invoke emotions.
Never get mad, never interrupt.
There's really nothing they can do. They will escalate their own emotions only to the point that they realize it's not getting them anywhere, and then they just pull.
They try different tricks. Now, our friend Paul, he knows about this. He'd arranged to pick up some books from a guy at the airport and wanted me to go with him.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to the airport. Well, I really need you to, and it would really help. I said, I know how you feel, but I'm not doing it.
You're using that technique on me.
And I said, yes, I am. And then here's where he tried the emotional appeal. He said, well, I was just hoping we could have a decent conversation. I said, understood, but I'm not going to the airport.
Yeah,
he's trying to get me outside it. So I agree with that as well. Just whatever they say to you, agree with it simply. Understood, but I'm not doing it. Now,
is this a good time to switch over?
It's a great time. We're going to
demos?
switch it up. We're going to bring in September Man, and we'll do a couple of demos so you fully understand it under pressure.
All right, here we go.
We're back with September Man, and he's going to role play this, and he'll do a splendiferous job, I'm sure. Okay, so we got some interesting things here that we've sort of pulled out of a hat. Cell phone plans.
Ooh.
Many carriers offer discounts and perks and loyalty plans if they're asked. And say you want to get a better deal with the cell phone company. Now, you're the cell phone company, and I don't have to say, well, I'm going to switch to so-and-so if you don't do. I don't have to make threats or anything. Yeah. So I start by telling him what I want. And I say, I understand you have special deals, and I want to have that deal that you were giving out last month. So now you...
Oh, well, sorry, sir. Like that deal's over. It was last month.
I understand completely, but I still want that same deal.
Well, I mean that you're a new customer. I can't just give it. I'd have to give it to everybody.
Understood. But I want that deal.
But I'd have to go talk to my manager first, and that's going to be a huge headache for me. And
I'm sure it is, but I still want that deal.
Oh, okay, let me go. Let me go do it.
You see how
with some other deal.
Oh yeah, it might be something even better. Yeah. But it's interesting. So notice he's the one who has to struggle and keep generating new things to try to get his point across. And all I do is keep doing the same thing over and over. What does it feel like to be on the receiving end of this?
So what's interesting is that the whole point of this is like we're deflecting the guilt that they're trying to instill upon us, and instead I end up feeling guilty, which is hilarious.
I'm sure you do, and I still want that.
I still want that deal.
Guys, this will empower you like you cannot imagine. And if you're one of those guys who doesn't like saying no because you feel weird and everything, you don't even have to pay attention to anything he says.
No.
Just say understood, but I still want the deal. You can do it on the phone. You can be, playing tic-tac-toe with your computer or something at the same time. It's so easy. Let's do another example.
Yeah.
How about gym memberships? Okay, they often have special deals they don't advertise, and you can be persuaded to get a discount. So you're the gym. I phone up your Krusty's gym.
Yeah.
Krusty's gym. Here I am in the microphone again. So I know how you feel, but I'm going to speak over here instead. So is that Krusty's gym?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of deal do you have going on right now for new members?
We don't offer deals to new members.
Okay, I'm sure you don't, but I'd like a special pricing for a deal that will encourage me to come in.
Well, I can't just make up a deal for you.
I understand, but I do want a deal that's going to be a very special price so I can come in.
But if I give you that deal, I'm going to give everybody that deal.
That makes sense, but I want a special deal.
What kind of special deal?
Oh, something that's just too good to refuse.
Well, if you do get this deal, though, you can't tell anybody about it.
Understood. I won't tell anyone, but I do want a very special deal.
Okay.
No, you can be reasonable.
Attention and things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. And you can still be quite human. If he says, well, I'm not authorized to give you that, the answer is an obvious one. Well, who is authorized to give it to me? Put him on the phone.
Yeah.
You deal with the big boss if you have to. It's a remarkably simple thing. Let's just get one more example. And, this is one that actually happened. Satellite radio in our car. I cannot live without it because I hate commercials. Anyway, my wife has learned how to get what she wants using these methods. And Sirius, great company. I love satellite radio. We've had the same deal with them every year for as long as we've had it, regardless of inflation. And my wife just says, okay, I want to book for another year, but I want the exact same price. Well, prices have gone up. I understand. but I want the exact same price as last year. Just keeps doing it, and we always get the deal every single time. So let's pick one that maybe you want to take a shot at this?
Yeah, sure.
How about home cleaning and maintenance service? This is good. Cleaning and landscaping companies might reduce their fees if you ask about discounts, loyalty rewards, or fees that are waived. So you're going to well, just here. I'm the landscaping company.
Yeah.
You want to hire me? Okay.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So
Hello?
I hello. I'm really wanting
Who is this?
I'm really wanting a special deal for cleaning my home, and I want to know what kind of deal you can offer me.
Well, what do you mean a special deal?
Well, I want a better price than I saw on the website.
Okay. The only problem is we never vary the price at all. That's our price, and we stick to it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do stick to it, and I still want a better deal.
Well, the problem is, I know you'd like that, but we have a lot of employees we have to pay, and it's just not reasonable for us to. I'm sure you understand. We got to pay the bills too, so that's why we don't give deals of any kind.
Understood, but I still want a special deal.
Okay, this is already irritating.
Exactly.
It's really annoying. Listen to this, and we'll close with this point. I taught a number of real estate agents this in Peterborough, Ontario, and one guy said, well, all I say is, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I don't have any money. And this woman, who was one of the top 20 what's it called? Century 21 real estate agents in Canada, stood up and she said, let me answer that for you. She said, here's what we're doing. And he said, I don't have any money. And she said, I can get you the money. What will stop you doing it? The guy just fell apart right away. She said, I can get past, I don't have any money. She said, but I have zero defense against this, and it scares the crap out of me. She honest, true story. So there you go. Yes. Use this regularly. Make it a habit. Make it simple. You don't get deals, you'll get deals. You don't get discounts, you'll start getting discounts. You'll pay less for cars, less for services. You'll save a whack of money. Anytime you simply state what you want, don't get drawn into arguments. Whatever they say, agree with it, keep it simple. I understand, or just understood, and then repeat what you want. Now, some people don't like saying but. It feels too confrontational. Do what September Man did. Say and instead. It's a string sentence. I know how you feel, and I want a full refund. Whatever it is, you'll get refunds when nobody gets refunds. So thanks again.
And
good night!